The Town of Munster Show. We are going to be reviewing a number of things from the building department today, and that's who we have. We have three representatives here from the building department. We have Chuck here, we have Nicole, and we have Sergio. And they are well experienced with what goes on as far as permits and how you do things in town. And I certainly would start off with saying that we encourage you to go and meet with them and see what needs to be done for your particular project. So anyway, this is the Town of Munster Show. My name is David Nellens. I'm the councilman representative from the 4th Ward, which is in the northeast corner of the Town of Munster. And I do enjoy doing this show. And the show is on WJOB 1230 AM and 104.7 FM. And we'll have about 25 minutes here to kind of talk about things and see what's going on. The Town of Munster is moving forward. I'm going to start with Sergio here, that we do have a number of things that are going on. And we'll talk about maybe the codes. Or actually, how does if a resident wants to do something in town with respect to having a permit, how do they start? What do they do to make that happen?
All right. Sure, Councilman. Thank you for inviting us to the show this morning. We really appreciate that, letting us give us the opportunity to share with our residents the process and what we do. So again, thank you. But if a resident wanted to, or a business owner wanted to do something in town, initially what they should do is contact our office, and then we would help direct them to where, based on what their interests are, and who in our office would best be able to guide them and help them accomplish their interests. So each one of us has a strong skill set in what they may be inquiring about. And so we would kind of direct them in that format.
So they would. Now we've also talked a little bit about, is any of this currently available online? If they want to work on that.
Yes, if they are. The public is welcome to view all of our municipal codes online through our website, including the zoning code is in a separate chapter or article, and that is also accessible online through our website. There's also the opportunity to check or go through the codes through a search function if you're looking for a specific item for review, whether it's whatever the interest is from the resident. They can do a word search on that, and it'll guide them to those articles that have language pertaining to that. Yep.
And we also have our building codes online. There's a link to the Indiana building code that we use, and we have our building permits and our applications for permits, as well as site review, plan commission, and BZA are all on our website.
And I think something was mentioned that maybe it might be better to use a computer or laptop to look up the information as opposed to a phone.
I made that comment just because some of the documents are very large, and sometimes scrolling through 450 some pages can be kind of hard.
Sure, well, that makes sense. I mean, if you got a little bit better viewing platform, if you need to do a quick something, fine. But if you really want to study what's going on,
now the municipal code keyword search does work really well. So you can just go in there, type in the keyword, and it's going to pull up every ordinance in the municipal code that has that keyword in a list, and you could just click on each one. The zoning ordinance is a little bit different to search because it's a separate document. Mm-hmm. It's more of like a link to a PDF, and you would have to do like a PDF search.
Okay.
Yeah, and permit submittals can be done online now. We have a program called BS&A. So they can submit the permit application with the supporting documents, and they can be reviewed online. And everything's processed online. Or you can come into the front counter and take care of it the old-fashioned way.
Wow, that's kind of an updated being able to do it all online. And now pay the bill too?
Yes.
So someone would review it in the building department, then apply as to what the charges would be?
Yes, that's what I would do.
And then there's an automatic email that will go to whoever the applicant is. This happens even if you don't apply through the software. The software we currently use, the BSNA, is set up that once we, review a permit and it's ready for payment, an automatic email gets sent to whoever the applicant is with the payment instructions. They can pay through the web, and the permit will just be emailed directly to them.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Things are really updating.
Yeah. So you can apply for a permit at 3 a.m. if you choose to.
Sitting there in your pajamas. and
Absolutely.
Type it in, and
Yep.
Attach all the supporting documents. And
there you go. Chuck, what kind of projects do you typically review, and what?
Remodel, alterations, repairs, new construction, additions, obviously. There are some projects that are submitted that are cosmetic in nature, meaning that there are no additions or alterations to mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or structural. So, somebody who submits a bathroom remodel permit application, sometimes they don't need the permit because it's cosmetic. They're just replacing a toilet, a vanity, some fixtures. That's cosmetic. But if they're replacing the plumbing control, moving the tub drain, adding ground fault electrical receptacles, then we would have them secure the permit and go through proper inspections.
Or like adding a whole bathroom, whole new bathroom,
Correct.
totally new.
Yep.
That would require more involvement, but certainly doable. And you're prepared to help the resident if it's a resident doing it, as opposed to a contractor who probably has more experience.
Yes.
Because I do see over there at the building department, you do have contractors that come in with their paperwork and looking to get their permits and getting that all set up.
Yes.
And then there's other cosmetic work, too, that does not require a permit, such as flooring, painting, tile work. Those types of things can be done without a permit, but people will call us and ask us, can I replace my cabinets in my kitchen? Yes, you can replace those. That doesn't require a permit. It's when you start relocating stuff, you're moving plumbing, you're moving electric, you're adding new, that's going to trigger the permit process.
Yes.
I quickly just want to add, I noted in the discussion that you were having with Chuck, you indicated, you said, you would be able to help them with that. And I want to just clarify that Chuck would be able to help them with the paperwork, not so much install the tub.
Drawing or how to install the tub.
Yeah, he would not.
I am not the designer of the project.
Yes, he would not go out there and install the toilet for you. He would just.
No, I would not install either.
So I just want to make sure that the residents are aware that we would help them with and guide them through the paperwork process, but not go out there and do the work.
But on the inspection of that
bathroom,
when they call for a final inspection or whatever, what do? You turn the water on, flush the toilet?
Well, when I was performing all the inspections, yes, you would check you'd check the plumbing. You can't see in the wall, so we've already done a rough inspection. So we've seen that.
Now, what does that mean, a rough in?
They've ran the electrical, they've relocated the plumbing, they've stubbed everything out to be connected to after the finishes, or after the drywall's in, whatever. We also do a fire stop inspection, so if there's any penetrations that go into another level, those would be fire caulked. And then we do a insulation inspection if it's an outside wall, and there's a final inspection after all the trims have been completed. Then, flush the toilet, turn on the faucet, operate a window,
just to make sure everything is properly secured and set up in the shape. But a rough-in is done with just the studded walls up and not the drywall covering it, or
that is correct.
Tile and all
Everything
those
is
things.
left. Everything you do, don't cover it up until we've looked at it.
Okay, then what do they get? They get an
inspection tag that says it passed.
And that. And if it doesn't?
If it doesn't, there are notes that are made at the bottom of the inspection tag about corrections that need to be made, and call us back for a reinspection.
So now is that a red tag?
No, we don't issue red tags. It's just a simple green tag. It's got a check there that things are to be corrected, and corrections are noted at the bottom.
Okay.
And we also use our computer system to enter inspection results that will get emailed to the, applicant as well. If it's the homeowner, it'll go to the homeowner. If it's the contractor, it'll go to them.
Okay. Kind of just as a rough thumbnail, how many permits and activities do you have during the course of a year?
I just had permit number 1,400 come across my desk just yesterday. So
For what time period?
from
That would be for the year.
For the year, that's
January 1 until now.
2025.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. We still have a few months left too. So
Now on the permits and that, you do have different types of permits with respect to if the not-for-profits want to put signage up or
Yes, that's like the one fee that gets waived with the permits, is that temporary signs for nonprofits are waived, the $50 fee.
now how about garage sales?
We don't do garage sales in our office. Those are handled through the clerk treasurer's
Oh,
office.
so they used to be in the building department, I thought, years ago. You started there, but now
Now it's through the clerk
for
treasurer's
treasurers,
office.
and they have an application, you fill it out.
There is an application that they have to fill out.
Yes. And I think they're, not that you oversee it anymore, I think you're only allowed so many a year.
Yes, it's in the municipal code. There's an ordinance that talks about, how many days you can have per calendar year.
Okay. Now, Nicole, you go out and do some inspections of projects.
Correct.
You also do some appearance code with respect to, is it commercial?
Yeah, with commercial property maintenance, look at the structure, look at the site. If there's, garbage on the site, weeds on the site, repairs that are needed to parking lots or buildings, that type of thing.
Have you ever run across something that you would say, boy, that was interesting, or I haven't seen that before?
That I haven't seen before.
Or it's been a while, I guess.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay, that's
they're
all
too
right.
plentiful to pick out.
We see a lot of, garbage on commercial sites, dumpster lids open and closure doors open, weeds growing, that type of thing.
So, all right, I'm going to throw this out. We talked about the different permits and what triggers a permit. Chuck kind of touched on that.
As I said, it's obviously new construction and additions. They'll trigger the submittal
Right.
of a permit application with supporting documents, drawings. Any remodel, alteration, repair project that would require alterations or additions to, MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and structural. If somebody wants to put a shed on their property, they submit the permit application for the shed. They provide, if they have a plat of survey, they provide a copy of that. They draw in where the shed's going to go and the distances from rear and side lot lines and from any other structure. Same with a swimming pool, above ground, in ground, fences, decks.
Now, if they
Some
don't have a
patios.
plat of survey,
They can go on the GIS site and do a screenshot of their property and draw it in on that. They can go ahead and they can measure their property, draw it out on a piece of paper, providing all the measurements and dimensions of the property and showing what the improvement they want to do
And
on that
sometimes
property.
sometimes we do have plats of survey for properties on file. If we've had a copy that we've come across, historically, we typically will always save those in the property folder. We're actually working on getting them all scanned in. So if someone doesn't have a plat of survey, they can call our office. We can double check if we have it, and then they can use that.
so they don't necessarily have to get a surveyor to come in and
No.
do the plats.
No, it's an unnecessary fee that they have to pay.
Okay.
It can be exorbitant. I mean, it could be $800 to $1,200 just to put a shed on your property.
All right.
It's just not necessary.
Just in rough conversation on putting a shed on their property, what's involved? What do we require of them
Just
in
simply
terms
that
of the construction?
a lot of these sheds are already, manufactured in a facility, and they're brought on site and put together. If it's stick built, it's simply just there's really nothing structural that they need to draw out to show us. It's going to be inspected. So
We're really looking for the location,
Yes,
the
the
placement of
location,
it, the
the height.
setbacks, the height,
is it anchored to the earth?
and then if it's 200 or
If
over
it's- if
200.
it's- if it's greater than 200 square feet, it's to be on a monolithic pour, on a slab, that is. If it's under that, it can be ground mounted, but it needs to be anchored to the earth. So if tornadic winds come through, it doesn't blow it into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
No.
No.
Same thing with fences and so forth. I just wanted to add two
Sure.
points to some of the recent discussion here. One regarding plats of surveys. Sometimes homeowners don't realize that they may have one, but if they go back to their mortgage paperwork, they may find one in there. Especially if someone's had the home for 20 years, they may have never looked at those mortgage papers. You may find one in there. The other thing is that if there's a resident purchasing a home in Munster, they can ask as part of the closing that a plat of survey be provided as part of the sale of the transaction, and that always helps the new owner to having that record as well. And we're more than happy to, if you bring it in, we'll scan it, upload it, so that way there's at least a digital copy on file with the town. The other question that was asked was regards to what would trigger a building permit, and I believe Chuck also mentioned paint does not, fixtures do not. And so the reason for that is because anything that would trigger a building permit is something that would affect the health, the life, or someone's life or the structure of a building. Is that we need to have a record of that. So someone painting a wall is not going to affect someone's life or building structure. Someone putting up tile is a choice by someone's design. That's not going to affect someone's life, health, or building standards. So really think about it that way. Is this something that could hurt someone or compromise the structure? Then we need to have a record of that.
And some things that people don't realize they need a building permit for is like if you're replacing your water heater, exterior doors, including storm doors, do require a permit. Even replacing same size windows does require a permit. Those are ones I commonly will get asked.
Okay. The crew here is patiently waiting for me to pull this out of the hat. Well, we're not going to pull a rabbit out, but I'm going to pull a chicken out. Oh, boy. Because I have had some residents ask about chickens, and who would like to address that?
Sure, I'll go ahead and start. I know that currently animals are addressed in our municipal code. There are regulations pertaining to chickens and how they should be managed. But we are working with the updates to the zoning code to further give regulations that actually would not so much encourage, but regulate residents to manage chickens on their property based on the quantity, the location, the structure. That again goes back to protecting not only the resident but also the adjacent property owners through those regulations. So if someone wanted to have a few chickens for eggs, then yeah, there are opportunities for that under the new updated proposed working draft code.
I would think when eggs were getting up to $5, $6, $7 a dozen, there was probably more thought about having their own hens to lay those eggs. Now, if you have chickens, what do you have to provide them with? I think we were talking about a coop, a way to house them. You just really shouldn't be bringing them into your house and letting them walk around and peck and stuff.
Right, a chicken coop, and we do require a building permit for a chicken coop.
Yeah.
So they get that set up. All right. In terms of Chuck, you talked about the state codes, and that the state has a set of codes that supersede ours. Correct? Did I understand that right?
Well, yes, the state codes are adopted, and then jurisdictions adopt the state code by reference. So if Indiana changes the plumbing code, we've already adopted it by reference. Therefore,
That falls
It just-
under jurisdiction, and
yeah.
then we were talking about, maybe Sergio, you want to address? We are looking at revisions to our codes and zoning.
Correct. So the state of Indiana affords local municipalities to create local zoning codes. So essentially, whatever's not identified by the state through the Indiana code can be identified through local municipal codes or zoning codes. Typically, those codes are adopted or presented to the legislative body, which is town councils and common councils and so forth, through the state of Indiana, and they adopt those codes, and that's what staff operates under, those guidelines and zoning codes that are presented to us to work with and guide the residents interpreting those codes and guide them through their interests that would fit within those zoning codes. So.
All right. Well, we're starting to get close to wrapping up the show. Any closing comments that you'd like to make?
I would probably just say one thing is that building permits are vital for the community because they help establish a timeline of work, and typically because we know structures will exist. Most structures will exist the lifespan of ours. And so having a record of that is important, not only for the ensuring that the structure is properly constructed, but the updates are there, done appropriately, and the next generation can feel safe as well. So I think that's really what I'd want to say is that but there are people who find it a challenge to get away without pulling a building permit. They enjoy that, but ultimately you're not doing a good service to your community by not asking if a building permit is required.
And then, too, you have a file that you keep, so someone can go back and historically look and see what's in the file and when this
All the
work,
permits that have been pulled.
all the permits were pulled and all that. So that's helpful.
I would say that the residents in Munster are very intelligent, and quite often they come and ask, hey, can you give me a list of the permits that were pulled on my property? I'd like to know when the HVAC was updated. I'd like to know when the roof was updated. So they're very diligent in making sure that they have appropriate records.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I think, with all these codes and things, and I know we're looking at revisions, it makes it challenging to keep up with this. The new code is this, proposed. We have proposed, we had existing, and we have the interim, which we have right now. So, I think I would encourage residents to contact the building department and ask any questions that they have and validate that they need a permit or not, and what's involved and what paperwork is required. On the bigger commercial, we did talk about a site review in which they come in and they talk about what they're planning on doing, and then the staff gives them suggestions. You have department heads that come in and attend that, and they have suggestions. Did you think about this? Did you think about that? Can you get a fire truck around that circle in the front of your building, and all those kind of things. So the building department is your friend, and they're there to help and to make sure that things are done right and properly. And we certainly appreciate everything that the three of you do and the rest of your staff in there. And there's always opportunities to meet with someone, to talk with someone about what's going on, and get guidance to be able to do that. So I want to encourage all the residents to review what they want to do, and then contact the building department, and they'll certainly help you go in the right direction. I think I was thinking years ago, garage sales required a permit. They still do. It's a non-charge permit, and it's now attained from the clerk treasurer's office. Because I think
Right.
you're limited as to how many a year you can have, and it's a no-fee permit, but it tracks things in that way. When one of the inspectors comes by and checks, you've got your permit hanging right there for your garage sale, and you're all set to go. So with that, I want to thank each of you for being here, and I think it's been a great show. So take care and enjoy the weather outside.
Thank you.
Thank you.